level 1 hair salon stylist on the call tonight with us, Gwen, and she's going to fix this mop, so I didn't bother to fix it today. So I'll get going. Tonight I want to talk to you guys about a really important subject topic that I'm been really passionate about in my own brain this month, which has to do with mindset, but you know, we hear about the mindset subject topic all the time. But what I want to really hone in on tonight is taking time off to actually create more time in your life. So more efficiency and more effectiveness. Sometimes this is going to look like literally taking the majority of your time that you would dedicate to your team or to your business and adjusting your sales towards what I'm going to talk about tonight. And sometimes it's just opening up a section of time in your life. And most people, that's what it's going to be about. It's opening up a section in your life that right now you're not allowing for. But if you will do this on a daily basis, it will create efficiency and effectiveness in all the other areas of your life that will actually create speed in your business. And oh, now I don't even have it here. That's annoying. I did not prepare well enough. But I just purchased a organizer type thing, you know, scheduler thing from Brooke Hemingway, and on the cover it said success loves speed. And that's so true for our business, not necessarily every business, but definitely this business. And so if you can create that kind of speed in your business without it overwhelming you, then you can create effectiveness and growth, and that brings success. So what am I honing in on tonight? I'm honing in on taking time from your daily activity and maybe even a large chunk of time out of your business to clear your mind and connect with your source, which for me is God. I'm not going to put that on everybody, but could be the universe, so that you can squash all of the fear.
Do you have any earphones?
Hold on one second.
I can't hear Mom. Thank you. Bring them back.
And my computer's being slow. Hold on. Okay, so that you can create clarity. So let me start out by giving you an example of the way that most of us function on a regular basis. It's wake up in the morning, your feet hit the ground, and they don't stop moving until you go to bed at night. And when you're doing that, that also includes your Plexus business tasks being accomplished. Your brain is constantly on go, 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 go. And typically there is a level of stress involved in all of those tasks that that stress and that pressure makes an impact on the task at hand, such that it might not bring the most enlightened space for you to accomplish the task. So you might be posting on social media, you might be messaging to a bunch of people, and there can be so much overwhelm or stress that those messages and those tasks become mundane. There becomes a lack of creativity. There becomes a lack of energy going into those tasks, positive energy, and instead that stress and overwhelm that you're feeling actually gets transcended into the messages and into the social media, which becomes either spam-like, boring, or you lose the joy and passion in your own heart for what you're doing, and the effectiveness of how they respond to you lessens. Not only that, but if they do respond to you and you're in a state of stress or overwhelm, your response back to them could potentially be less than effective, less than efficient, where you're thinking, oh, for goodness sakes, like you have these fence sitters, right? And you're like, just say yes already. What is the problem, right? And you had an example of this today, somewhat of an example of this today, where a guy had messaged somebody. She said yes, she was interested. He followed up with her. She ghosted him. He followed up with her again. She ghosted him. Well, his follow-ups are, hey, did you have any questions? Or it wasn't even that. It was something like, did you see my message? You know, something like that, right? Boring, no engagement, no emotional thought to it, just barely putting effort into what you're doing. And I sat down and helped him correct what he was doing. But if you brought to the table a lot more clarity in your thinking and a lot more passion from your heart and excitement for what you're doing, it might have been like, oh my gosh, hey, you know, I'm really excited to share these products with you. And I know you're super busy, but when can you have some time to talk? Like, he might have come up with that on his own, but instead he's like, check mark, got to do a follow-up, check mark, got to do a follow-up, right? Just let me think about this for a second, because I'm going to make a transition here, but I just want to make sure I covered everything the way I wanted to say it. Oh, I know what I need to say. So where might the overwhelm and the stress come from in your business? That might seem like a duh question, but I want to take it above the typical stress and overwhelm of like, I have a million things on my plate every single day. And I want to suggest to you guys to consider that you put some of this overwhelm and stress on yourselves when you're thinking about the task at hand of getting to the next rank. And that might be only a small limitation. You're looking at getting at gold might seem overwhelming, but then if you look all the way to diamond, it's 10 times more overwhelming. And your brain is naturally going to want to go to a place of like, if I'm going to get to there, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and I have to do this. And if you are focused on the overwhelm, you also can have things kick in on a fear side of, be careful what you're doing, because you could fail, you could fall short, you could be wasting your time. And if you already feel stressed out, wasting your time is the last thing you want to do. And so all of those things come forward, and you bring to the table only your own thinking versus the abundance of creativity that's inside of you. So I feel like I took that down too much of a rabbit hole that I didn't want to, but in my mind, it makes sense. Let me completely bridge over to where, what I want to propose to you guys to start doing in order to alleviate the overwhelm and the stress. And okay, sorry. I'm actually feeling a little bit nervous now that I'm talking to you guys about it, because I feel like I maybe started from the wrong direction, and I hope I wasn't unclear about what I was getting at. So I'm trying to like sit in my mind for a second and think about how to better explain this. And I also want to share with you guys that I am going to be talking to you about a little bit of a Christian aspect from this. You guys can associate it with the universe if you're not Christian. So based on what I just said about at the beginning of this month, I recognized that I was doing this. I was running a little bit on overwhelm, and I was running too much on stress, and it was bringing down my energy levels. Everything that I was coming to the table with, when I looked at my daily activities, when I looked at my agenda on the table to get me to the next level, when I looked at my team, maybe what my leaders were doing, whether or not the duplication was going on throughout my levels, all of it was looking super overwhelming to me at the beginning of this month. And it was, and really not even just at the beginning. This is kind of a pattern I'd kind of gotten myself into over the long haul, but I had gone up and down in my joy level. Well, by the beginning of September, it was really low, and I was recognizing, hey, I'm showing up for my team in a way which, let me just say, I'm showing up for myself. Let me put it that way. I'm showing up for myself in to do my own business in a way that's less than joy-filled, and it has that feeling of overwhelm. And all I am seeing is there's these events to do, there's this I could put on the team page, there's this many messages that I could send. I could ask people if they want to do a 3-day. I could ask people if they want to do an event. I could ask people if they want to look at a video. So there's all those options, right? I need to reach out to my level 1s and 2s and do some relationship building. I have to check my perks points and make sure that people who are in could potentially lose their perks points aren't losing their perks points. And because I was coming from a state of overwhelm, all of that looked like more than I could handle. Okay. And what was really going on is I had not been giving myself enough space to create clarity that this is going to sound so simplistic, that it's not more than I can handle. It's the mindset that I was taking to create that. So I was coming at my business with doubt about myself and creating the doubt by looking at everything in a state of overwhelm. I don't know if this is relating to any of you, but hopefully it is. So what I did is I stepped back and I started taking time in the morning to clear my mind. And I actually would play worship music and sorry, you guys. I feel like this is not coming out at all the way I wanted it to, and I'm getting a little bit nervous, but I promise you, this is gonna, do any of you relate to the overwhelm part of it? Let me just pause and ask you that. Okay, perfect. Makes me feel better that I'm going down the right rabbit hole, okay? So some of that overwhelm on you guys' level that I hear about is like, if only I could sign 2 strong runners and then I could make it to where I need to go and this would work for me and it wouldn't feel so scary and overwhelming and fear-filled, right? If only I was better at leading. If I was better at leading, my team would duplicate. They would do the things that they need to do. And I must be lacking in the ability to be a good enough leader to make this work. And when I become a better leader, I will then rank advance. But I just have to give myself some time to become a better leader. And over time, maybe I'll get lucky and find those 2 people. If I had more guidance from my upline, if I just had a little bit more guidance and they would tell me a little bit more about how I'm supposed to do X, Y, Z, this would work out for me.
You're responsible for forgetting your stuff.
Yeah. I'll check on that in a second. If we only had better events.
Yeah, probably.
If we only had more events, and if we only had more time, right? So these are all things that we find ourselves saying to ourselves about why we don't have the success that we have. And one day, like this is a pattern that goes on in Plexus across the board, right? And then all of a sudden, you'll see that person who you had never heard of. That person might be you, 2 years of running at gold and you're not going anywhere. And all of a sudden you spike up and you go somewhere. You see this happening across Plexus, right? Heck, we'll use Joanna as an example. Joanna sat at Ruby for 2 years. Boom, just like that, she went. Now, let me ask you something. Did she get more time? No. Was there a magic piece of information that she found about leadership that told her a process of leadership that was so different than anything she had ever read before? No. Did she discover an event that nobody knew about? And then she started doing the event and everybody was able to succeed and duplicate. Did she find more guidance in her business? Nope. None of that is true. That is not why Joanna went from Ruby to Sapphire. And what did you do it in? A year, little over a year, whatever it was?
Well, I sat at Ruby for quite a while. I actually slipped back. But then I actually went from Ruby to senior Ruby in 4 months. Well, for some reason, I feel like it was like 4 months. But then I went from senior Ruby to Emerald in 4 months. And all of that just came down to me and what I needed to put into my business and into my team. There was nobody that was going to do it for me. There was nobody that I could blame. It just came down to me and my daily to-dos.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That is perfect. She said it came down to nobody to blame but me and my to-dos. This comes full circle to what I was saying before. The problem with getting up and holding yourself accountable and doing your to-dos in the right way is you can get hung up on all of the other excuses. If only I had better guidance, better events, had better leadership, had all of these things. Really, all that is, you guys, is you're reaching your upper limits of what you see capable for yourself. If you reach that upper limit and you go above that, it becomes very uncomfortable, because all of a sudden you find yourself saying, what if I can't keep it? What if I can't sustain it? What if people find out I'm really not that good of a leader? What if the people that are getting me to where I want to be, because I'm not a good enough leader, they stop the duplication and then I fall back? What if I can't keep signing people? What if I get in a rut or I sign people and I can get nobody else to silver, and there I sit and I can't get any further? Like, those are the things that people get hung up and focused on, that create all of the fears. And you start, even if it's subconsciously, you start making excuses. Like, well, it's just, I can't get that person to move. I don't have enough time. There's no organization in the events. Can't happen. BS. If you would get up and start taking this time that I'm talking about, and I'm going to get a little bit more clear on this. I apologize that I'm kind of started out rambling a little bit, but if you would take this time to clear your mind, if you find that you have been sitting in a position for 2 years as gold, for instance, and you're not getting anywhere, and every day, if you look back the last 6 months and every day you're doing exactly the same thing and you're not getting anywhere, something's wrong. You have reached an upper limit level of what your brain is willing to allow yourself to be at, because you can't physically see where you're going. And so you need to take that time and clear your mind so that you can remind yourself that, hey, this is not just of me and my own personal mind thought. This is bigger than that. This is mind, heart, God connection. That's how this all works. And that's how you can open your mind to understanding that you are actually, everything that you have is already inside of you. And this is going to come back to full circle of what Joanna and I were just talking about. Since she didn't read any golden, beautiful thing in a leadership book, and she didn't have any additional guidance, and she didn't have a special event that popped up that made her go from ruby to emerald, what happened? How did she get there? Because if none of those things happened, that means Joanna today as a sapphire is the same person that Joanna was as a ruby. And yet she stayed at ruby for 2 years. And what happened is she probably came to a revelation where she's able to say, no, I don't have to be afraid that I'm incapable of this, because I actually already have everything that I need within myself, and I'm going to trust and have faith that the resources and the people and the things that I need will appear. And when you open your mind to understanding and believing that on a really large level, you wake up, and instead of being clogged up, instead of your mind literally being clogged up with fear and overwhelm that shows up when you sit in front of your computer and your mind goes blank when you think, what am I going to post on social media? Instead, you show up to your computer, your mind is full of passion and creativity and excitement and energy, and all the things fly out of your brain. This is going to sound kind of mumbo jumbo to any of you who might not have ever thought of sitting and clearing your mind, meditation and prayer. But the bottom line is, I really want to promote to you guys to take some time to do this. And 5-second clip of what I've been doing this last month is I wake up in the morning. And by the way, this is not the first time in my life by a long shot that I've waken up and done meditation, prayer, and listened to worship music. But it is a time that I intentionally said to myself, I have to not just walk through the pathway of meditation and prayer, but I have to recognize that I have allowed myself some upper limit thinking where I have blocked my own abilities to believe that I can have more, can rank advance to more things. And I feel it. I felt it. You all should probably feel that. You can feel it in your heart when you're messaging somebody and you're thinking in your head, they're probably going to ghost me. If you're sitting in front of your computer like that, you need some prayer and meditation. If you're thinking, well, I'll do the task, but I'll probably never get past gold, same concept, right? You need some meditation and prayer, because the truth of the matter is every single one of us can Google right now, what is the top 5 things I need for leadership? And there's your answer. But none of that information is going to do you any good if you don't feel it and believe it in your heart. And that comes when you stop. So that's what I was talking about. Stop what you're doing. Find time in your day to just stop. Stop your plexus, stop your parenting, stop your wifery, whatever it is. Lock yourself in a bathroom if you have to, and clear your mind and focus 100% on the realization, the reality that you have God living inside of you, or energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it. The world is made of energy, and for me that's positive love, God, energy, in unlimited power. And when you clear your mind and open yourself up to that, you are able to realize and understand that all this abundance, meaning people that you want on your team, ideas and creativity to create the next upcoming events, energy to be able to perform the events, passion in your heart, all of that is right there in front of you. And when you actually tap into it in a quiet space is when it can start to marinate and rumble up from within you. And then when you sit down at your computer to actually do the do, you sit there with a totally different mindset of excitement, expectation of like, man, I have got this. This isn't overwhelm. This is how fast can I type? Because this is mine. This next rank is mine. This next sweeping the contest is mine. Like, I dare you to challenge yourself to sweep that contest this month. I don't care what your points are. I dare you to do it. I have challenged myself to that. And I am not challenging myself to this contest, to sweeping the contest. I got 1,400 points right now. So whatever, I got 1,400 more points. I'm only halfway there. I'm daring myself to sweep this contest by the end of the month. And I'm not doing it from a place of like, now, what is that? How does that work? What does that mean I have to do every day to make that happen? It doesn't entirely mean that's the way it's going to be. Like, for instance, if I sat down and said, I need to sign 3 people every single day, how am I going to make that happen? I am not entirely doing that. You know what I'm saying? Instead, I'm saying, I'm going to sweep the contest. It's already done. I see it. I believe it. I'm going to put my faith into it's already done. So that when I sit down, I'm like, dang, I'm going to love shopping at Nordstrom. And instead of having to push myself to figure out who to message, what am I going to do when I message them? Am I going to share a video? Am I going to do an event? It's like, boom. When I make that decision, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. All the creativity just rolled out of me. The excitement rolled out of me. But it's only because I know I'm not doing this alone. I have put it out to God, and I in full 100% trust in God. And I know that He can make that dang thing happen and way more. So I'm not even worried about it. And because of that, I am having all the good juju come my way, if you will. Like, sign another girl today. I've already got 10 people going into my event on Wednesday night. Every single time I message 20 people, I'm getting at least one yes. That is the truth since I started messaging last week for this event. And that I'm doing. And I'm just going to keep rolling out events. Like, if I don't get it and it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be mad either. I don't care, because I know by the end of October, my business is going to be flying no matter what. But the most beautiful part of taking that time to step back this last month and really, really committing to what I was doing and being intentional with my meditation and my prayer and my empty space to connect with the massive power of God, universe, energy, it reminded me that I'm not doing any of this alone, and that what I need to get from where I am to Diamond is like everything I could possibly need from it is so much bigger, and I'm already connected to it, and I don't need to worry about it, kind of thing. That's what has come to me, and it's given me that reassurance to let go of some of the fear and let go of some of the upper limit thinking. Just to describe real quickly, upper limit thinking, by the way, and actually I'm going to do two things for you guys real quickly. One of them is I'm going to explain how this already worked for my life last year. And then once it worked for me, my upper limit thinking kicked in and I lost points. So let me do it that way so that you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's also why at the beginning of this month, I could tell that I was stuck in that mode again, and I took some space to do this. But I promise you guys, if you can figure out the time, not figure it out because everybody has the time, no matter what you want to make time for. But if you will commit to this, you will change your business entirely. So a year ago next month, no, 2 years ago, sorry, 2 years ago, I went shopping with my sister. She was looking for Mother of the Bride's dresses. I tried on a gorgeous gown. Some of you have heard some of this already. Tried on this gorgeous gown, and I'm standing in the mirror and like blown away. I felt like a movie star. It was so beautiful. And I felt like I heard God say, buy the gown. This is your gala gown. So for some of you who don't know, gala is a big extravagant thing that you can go to at convention, but you have to win it. It's a convention contest. I have taken myself to Emerald. I've taken my husband to Emerald. I've had jewels underneath of me. I've never come remotely close to getting the gala because you have to earn a lot of points, okay? So full momentum, mega rank advancements on my team, never have won the gala. So I'm standing in my gown, and at this point, I've got about 40 people a month signing on to my team. That's a really low number. For those of you who don't know, at the jewel level, that's a low number. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. I'm gonna win gala. I didn't win it when I was in full momentum. How's that gonna happen? But I was trusting in what I heard, and I bought the dress. And I hung it in my closet, and I was laughing about it. Like, my husband's gonna kill me if I don't win this gala, but I have no idea how this is gonna work. So 3 months later, the contest starts. So I buy the dress before the contest even starts, okay? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, God, you better come through for me because you're the one who nudged me on this. And I would not have done it on my own. That's craziness. And so I put the gown on. I took a picture of myself. I put it on the wall in my bedroom. And I spent that time every single night. This is different than what I'm doing right now because right now I'm doing it in the morning. But I spent the time every single night. I stared at that picture and I visualized myself on stage. I actually visualized myself on stage holding a diamond and in the gala dress, which was representative of gala. And I would just sit there and literally say to myself, I have no idea how you think you're going to do this. Because even when the contest started, we were still at the same place. We were not really moving. It's about 40 people a month signing on to the team. And I'm like, if you're going to do this, you're just going to have to show up. You're going to have to produce, provide, bring the resources, et cetera, et cetera. Y'all, I won gala like 6 weeks before the contest ended. And I won the next prize, which was a $3,000 paycheck on the same day. And before the contest ended, I made it halfway to the very final grand prize, which was like another $5,000 check or something like that. Joanna won it, so I'm sure she knows. But anyway, the point is, when you open your mind space to that kind of faith and you really focus on it in a way that in your heart, you're thinking, like, truly, this is above and beyond me. What needs to happen, the resources that need to be provided to you, you will see it and it will show up. When you are in shutdown mode and you're going, and all you're seeing is stress and overwhelm and, oh, I don't have enough time for this and everybody's ghosting me, you will see that. That's what you will see over and over and over, and your business won't grow. And you'll prove to yourself exactly what you're telling yourself, which is things aren't working out. So here's the upper limit mindset. Once I won gala, you guys are probably gonna be like, I can't believe she's our leader. But I'm just gonna be honest with you because I want you to see what I've gone through so that you can see, use it for self-respect, introspection for yourself. But I won the gala and the $2,000 on the same night. That was April. We still had April and May to go. And Convention was in June. I started to make myself physically ill basically that very next week. And I've done this before, by the way, but I didn't recognize I was doing it before. I started making myself physically ill. By the time the end of May rolled around, Gwen is on the call with us. She was actually at a couple of sip and sees that I did with her and her team. She can probably remember this. I was actually at the sip and sees just like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through these. I just don't feel good. And by the time I went to convention, the night before convention, like literally the morning, I went to sleep. I was supposed to wake up and get on a plane. I had my first ever panic attack. I woke up in the middle of the night. I almost asked my husband to take me to the hospital.
Yes.
Because, and this is so normal, and this is why I'm telling you guys, because you might be thinking in your head, I think I know what she's talking about. This is so normal that when I took some coaching later in the year, he had me read a book called The Big Leap. And in the book, there's a whole section on how super successful people make themselves physically ill once they've had success. It's called self-sabotage, you guys. You might not make yourself physically ill. You might get in a car accident. You might have an accident around you. You might have some other form of, you might start arguing with your husband and your marriage comes in between your job or the goal at hand, whatever it is. Some sort of thing to tilt your scales so that you start self-sabotaging, you start going downhill in what you're doing. That was my upper limit. Why? Because I felt like a fraud. This is a very common thing for successful people too. They feel like, I can't even think of the phenomenon that's called, Zoana might remember, but it's basically you see yourself as a fraud. And like when people finally figure out I'm not smart enough to be this leader, I'm not good enough to sustain this, you know, I'm going to look stupid, and you start to bring yourself down to a place of success that you've always had, that you feel comfortable with, that you're okay with. Like maybe you made it to gold and you're like, well, that I'm pretty surprised I made it there, but you know, not really. I'm a little surprised, but not really, because you know, I'm not that stupid and I can make it to gold. But then when you think of making it to senior gold, you're like, well, no, now we're starting to talk about something here. And that might actually bring those types of fears about in your leadership. And so when I'm talking about upper level limits, that's what I'm talking about. And there has to be a break in psyche. It's kind of like the Mel Robbins thing where it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you get stuck, I had you guys listen to that video today actually. You know, if you get stuck in a pattern in your life that you can't break and you find yourself doing it again, maybe it's to go get a glass of wine at 8 o'clock every night, and you know you shouldn't be doing that because it's fattening and it's not doing you any benefits. And you get that urge, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you wake up and you go do something else, right? You finish that and you go do something else. It's breaking the chain. Sitting down and clearing your mind in the morning is your security blanket in a way to break that chain of fear and limited thinking and create clarity that you are limitless. You are as limitless as the universe and God. But if all you do all day long is run, and face the fear, you never have the time to remind yourself of that. And that's how you get stuck. So, yeah, I think I covered everything, but there is one more thing. So I wanted to just share a lot of that with you because every time that I have pulled myself back and done what I'm sharing with you guys tonight, I see giant leaps forward in not just in points and success, but in foundational change in who I am. So you might start out in this business running on fear. Then as you go along, you build some confidence, but eventually you can get to a place where there's such a solid foundation of knowing that where you're going is going to happen. You're going to get to where you are. That's the type of change I'm talking about, not just dollar bills or points or whatever. I'm talking about foundational change within your head space and within your heart. And there's 2 more things I want to say. One of them is an example of Phelan Black. I want to bring that up here real quick too. Some of you may not know her story, but in a nutshell, she sat at gold for 2 years. and whined and complained like nobody's business. Went onto the team page, was just like an ornery, awful, awful person. That's how she describes herself. And she sat at gold, she lost rank gold, she went back up to rank gold, lost rank gold, and just whined and complained to her upline, her diamond upline. And at the same time, she had 2 other people signed on at the exact same time that she signed on. They went diamond in the same time period. She sat there and lost rank and whined and complained. Okay. And this goes back to the point I was making before. She took space for 3 solid months. I don't remember the year, it doesn't matter, but in a summertime space of time, these 3 months she took and sat by the pool and basically did what I'm talking about alongside of reading books, which is also what I do to create that clarity in my mind. And she finished those 3 months of creating clarity in her mind and took the next 4 months and went diamond. So she went from gold at the beginning of the summer to diamond by January. And 3 of the months, she pretty much was just taking time to clear her mind and create that correct mindset space and head space. So I wanted to thank you, Ariel. So I just wanted to share her story too, because it goes back to what I said about Joanna and going from ruby to emerald. Like nothing catastrophic changed about Phelan. Like no amount of information was dropped in her brain that was so cosmic, life altering. No processes changed, no upline changed. That's not what happened. It was taking that time to stop and create clarity in your mind that will then offer you the ability to see your potential, and that potential is unlimited, that potential is unlimited. And then when you actually do the tasks at hand that are always going to be there, you will do them in a way that brings about success. Does that help you guys at all?
Yeah. Hey, Tanya, can I touch on something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of my leaders know this, but when I was at Leaders Retreat a couple of years ago as a Ruby, everybody draws their line in the sand. We always talk about that, right, Tanya? Draw your line in the sand. So what I did at that time is I drew my line in the sand. I wrote Emerald. That we were in Florida. It was my very first time being at the ocean. It was beautiful. For a Plexus Leaders Retreat, I wrote Emerald in the sand with a line underneath, and it said 2018, Emerald 2018. At that time that I did that, I did not believe I was going to go Emerald. I had so much doubt, but I did it because that's what we do. But that belief, it definitely was not there. I remember thinking as I was writing that, this is so not true. I'm never going to be Emerald. And that's exactly what happened. The only thing that held myself back was me and my mindset. So me thinking that affected my daily tasks I was doing. Maybe my messages were too scripted. Maybe I wasn't pouring into people the way that I should have. So one of the things for me that was that missing link was realizing that people are not just numbers, people are people. And this is a people business, and we need to build those connections with people. That was really huge for me in developing that and all those relationships. And then also letting other parts of my business go. So Tanya knows that I was always known as like the highest PV, having the most sign-ons, and having to just let that piece of my business go to be able to become a jewel, because, you know, I couldn't have all of that and be a jewel. So I had to pick one. And I decided that it was time to let all of that go so I could transition forward to becoming a jewel. The month that I went Senior Ruby, I ended auto ships with about 520 points. So I needed over 200 some points to get to Ruby. I said to somebody, not on this call, I said, I'm going to go Ruby this month. And I had the people every single month. I had the people to go Ruby. It's just, it was getting everybody to order in that month. And somebody said to me, that's not possible. You're not going to do that. So and that right there was just motivation enough for me to just put my foot down. So I went Ruby, but then 4 months later I did go Emerald. And I think you know who I'm talking about, Tanya. 4 months later I did go Emerald, but I changed that missing link, that what I was missing. It was just pouring into people and developing those relationships, and not just sending scripted messages and things like that, and really just and focusing on them, and loving people, and knowing that people are not just people are not just numbers, that they are people and everybody matters. So and just, you know, trying to get into their mind, like what is going on. You know, a lot of people, they really just need encouragement and support those first 8 weeks. Me, my first 8 weeks, I almost quit a zillion times. I've actually restarted Plexus. I Plexus, I quit, I got a refund, and I actually restarted it. So sometimes people just need that support and that encouragement. And I know as a leader that can feel like it's falling back on you and you're not doing good enough, but it's not about you, it's about them. So always just keep that in mind, that you're there for them. Just ask questions, help them get into a routine, a regimen, things like that, and just really work on building that foundation and that relationship to help you grow your team and grow your business. So that was really all I wanted to touch on. It really is about mindset and not setting and breaking those roadblocks.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because you talked about how you held on to that position of having high PV. So again, going back to upper limit thinking, like she was very married to that for a long time. Why? I don't know. I'm going to throw some guesswork out here. You know, maybe that was her comfort level. She had created a process that she knew she could control. She knew she could always accumulate customers and keep high PV that would keep a certain paycheck. And that was her place of comfort, upper level limit at that moment, right? What was the other option? The other option was to take these PV people and turn them into team members and start building leaders. Guess what, you guys? That can look really scary. Like, okay, if I put them on my team, then I lose my PV, I lose all of these extra bonuses, I lose my place on stage for having high PV, whatever it might be, and then I put them underneath me, and all I get is these 5 points, and then if I can't get them to duplicate, nothing happens, and if they turn off, I lose the 5 points, and I don't have my PD, and I don't have a team. And what if I'm not a good enough leader to create that duplication? Pretty soon you have upper level limit thinking. Now here's the deal. The reason I'm bringing this up is because her limits are different than my limits. I did not have that issue at all. Her strengths some of them might be my weaknesses, and vice versa. What you all have to do is say to yourself, where am I thinking limited? Do I wake up every day and say, I just don't have enough time? I just don't have enough time. Do you say to yourself, it's always been this way? Money, living in a smaller home, or having no home, or always having to purchase things on sale. It's always been this way. Things like that, if you are saying those things to yourself, it can be so, like if you don't get intentional about it, you can just say them without realizing it, right? There was a place in time where Joanna was not looking at her high PV and going, oh, that's my limited thinking. Like, that's not what she was thinking. She was thinking, shit, I am awesome at getting PV. But in reality, it was a limitation. When I was getting sick after I had great success, I didn't go, oh, that's right, I'm successful, so now I'm making myself sick. No, I just thought it was a fluke for a long time. So be very introspective about what it is you're saying. If whatever negative is coming out of your mind, I never have any time, I don't have any time, that's BS, you guys. Okay, if that's what's coming out of your mouth, something else is going on. You're using that as a crutch. Could be any number of things. I'm just saying, using the time thing, but you're using that as a crutch to say to yourself, I would be successful, except I don't have enough time. I would be a better leader, except this. And if I didn't have this obstacle and I was a better leader, then I would get my rank advancement. Usually, subconsciously, there's something else going on there that you're actually afraid to be that leader, or you're afraid to take that next step in whatever area. So be careful about listening to like Joanna and I talk tonight and just go, well, I don't have that issue, or I don't have that issue. If you're stuck in your business, you probably have some issue. It's up to you to figure out what it is. And that's why I'm saying, find the space to stop and think about this, to recognize where you're cutting yourself off. Okay. Even the way Joanna and I handled pushing forward, I feel like is a little bit different. So you might have to find your own pattern, draw your line in the sand, however that looks for you, to be able to put a stop to the old thinking and to move forward. But to me, the clarity issue that I was talking about, that time and that space, is golden. And the very last thing I'm going to leave you with is I wake up every day now. I'm having my son do the same thing. And I use Tony Robbins' morning routine. You can YouTube it. I've been doing it for the full month. It has just been amazing. I've actually known about it and I've done it here and there for probably about 6 months. And of course, I wasn't consistent because I didn't believe in it enough. At the beginning of this month, I said, I'm using this as my breakthrough, and I am a huge believer, you guys. It's huge what he does in the morning. It's only 15 minutes, and it is this clarity of thinking. So even if you don't want to actually, you don't believe in God, so you don't want to actually do prayer, you can't get yourself to settle down enough to do meditation, this morning routine is amazing. He walks you through it so you don't have to think about it. 15 minutes, that's it. I swear by it. And I've seen other people swear by it. So I would try that out for yourselves. That's it. I'm good.
Is there one more? There's one more thing I wanted to touch on, Tanya, that I thought of, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So another thing is your team is going to follow your lead in what you do. So when I was getting all that high PV, guess what? My runners, they were signing customers and they were only having high PV. So we had almost no duplication on our team, but they had all this high PV. So after a while, I just didn't want to be recognized for that anymore because I wanted to have duplication. So no matter what it is, if you're taking breaks in your business, your team sees that and they're going to say, it's okay for me to take a break. Or if you're not showing up, or if you're not commenting, or if you're not plugged in, they're going to follow your lead, whatever you do. If you're going live and you're pumping people up and you're positive and encourage, like, they're going to follow that and they're going to look up to that. Whatever you do is basically sometimes going to be what they're going to model. Wouldn't you think, Tanya?
Yes, and that also goes for if you're doubting yourself, if you're making excuses, if you're showing up in a way that's not creating new sign-ons because your activity has become mundane and scripted and spammy and all of the things, and then you're not rolling out with the processes of duplicating those people into an event, or you're not speaking life into those people because you're feeling bad about yourself, and all of that doubt is getting in the way of your beauty, that same energy is going to be felt in your team. So it's not only what you physically do, it's how you handle yourself. If you're doubting yourself, they're definitely going to doubt themselves. If you're not bold, they're not going to be bold. So, what? Sorry. I'm feeling passionate about it tonight, Joanna.
I love it. I love your passion. It's awesome. You pump me up, girl. You're so awesome.
I'm feeling pumped. I'm excited. This
awesome.
is going to be an amazing year. It's going to be really pretty cool. So, but does anybody have any questions on anything I said? Because I did kind of start out rambling a little bit, because for me, it's kind of, I can feel it in my brain and my heart, and I know how it works. And sometimes it's hard for me to put it into words. So does anybody have any questions about what we talked about? Or does anyone want to say, like, this is where I'm hung up and I can't get past it, or I don't know how to do X, Y, Z?
Tanya,
Yeah.
can I say something?
Who's speaking?
Can you see?
Lindsay.
Oh, Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Gotcha.
Hey guys. I heard
Hey.
something. Hi guys. I heard something really interesting today that I just wanted to share because it kind of clicked when I heard it. So it was actually from somebody else on the team, but they said something about the fact that people aren't looking for, if we're doing the kind of work that we're doing, they're not looking for our products, they're looking for us, that we're the brand.
Yep.
So if we're not putting ourselves out there and we're only putting Plexus out there, then people stop tuning into us maybe. So what I've noticed is that the times that, I haven't been doing this for very long, but the times that my business has grown are times where I haven't been afraid and I've been vulnerable and I've put things out there, either about how my journey's going or about where I'm at or how I'm feeling. And when I'm personal is when I feel like is when my business grows the most. And but they still need those other things. They still need to see what the products are and why I'm doing the things I'm doing. But anytime I interject myself into it at some point, and not just a picture of me saying buy this, but like my feelings or um, my passion or whatever it might be, those are times I handle and see those bumps happen. Or like the good bumps.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. People want to see you. They want to see real life you. They don't want to see fake you. I love it. It's so awesome.
Yeah. And you guys are a great leader for what? I mean, I feel like I've done a really good job to improve my social media now compared to what it was 2 years ago. That took me some time, you guys. I'm almost 50 years old. Social media and me are not friends. So, but Joanna, I feel like she has just like hit the nail on the head with it. If you watch her newsfeed, you guys got a great example of what that looks like. I mean, she just lets her spirit shine through. But that also goes in hand with what we're talking about. Like if you're replaying the reel of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough time, I feel overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, I have this, I have that. What are the odds that you're going to be able to show up with the best parts of yourself on social media? It's not going to happen. Same thing with your messaging. So yeah, and that is true, Lindsay. It is so important to connect that way. But I love your feed, Joanna. You do a great job. I love.
Oh, thanks.
The whole penny thing is great.
When I look back at memories from like 3 years ago, and it's like join my team, I'm like, oh my gosh, those are the worst. You know, join my team because why? So. Come on, Dawn. You were a hard one for many years. You didn't want to join my team.
Yeah, I said no to you for a long time.
She's a hard no. She's a hard one. But yeah, we got her.
Yeah.
She joined my team though.
Yeah. I did.
So
I know. I don't know. This is exciting. It's definitely out of my box. I'm not one to be on social media and make myself vulnerable. So it's a little scary, but I've been trying, and yeah, it's crazy, but it's super cool.
And Tanya, Dawn, she's almost senior silver, I think, in just like less than 2 months. She's been hosting parties. She's doing awesome. She's putting awesome posts out. Like that's awesome. Like you're doing it. I mean, it took me 4 months to go silver. So anybody that thinks they're not killing it, you guys are. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's another good point. We are so susceptible to wake up every day and look at how we fall short instead of looking at like, dang, I'm not falling short. I'm rocking this business. I mean, I am probably a perfect example of what I just said. Over the course of the last couple of years, I kind of started to fall down that journey of like, I'm falling short. I'm not enough here. I'm not enough there. I got a little bit too focused on that. And it's like, girl, have you seen your 1099? Do you see how many people are on your team? Like, how on earth are you talking about falling short? It's just something I think that's our natural nature. Another reason to take this time, this headspace time, and create clarity that you're not falling short. You're amazing. Grab onto that. I mean, senior silver in 2 months is awesome. Look
Hang
back
on,
at
Tanya. Sorry, I just checked. She's 1 from senior silver right now.
or
1.
one from senior silver. Whatever. Still amazing.
I know, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm
She joined August 4th.
Yeah, and somebody replied back to me tonight, so I have a really good feeling.
Okay, that is 2 $150 bonuses. You better find at least one more person.
I'm doing it. I'm motivated.
You're doing it. Yeah.
And do it with expectation. Do it with like, here's the word that comes to mind is like a lot of people will say, I hope this works. Get rid of hope.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
rid of the word hope. It does not exist. You do it with a thing of,
Mhm.
it is happening. It's going to happen. And when you get 10 no's after you say that to yourself,
Mhm.
go, whatever, don't care. Next, because it's going to happen. And that's where you can create a sustainable level of joy for what you're doing. So yeah, recognizing how great you are instead of looking always at where have I fallen short, what didn't go right this week, looking at what did go right this week. And by the way, that Brooke Hemingway success book that I use, that I mentioned earlier, I wish I had it up here. It's down on my table, so I'm not going to go get it. But it's like a daily calendar thing, but she's got a lot more stuff into it too. And she's really good about that. She like makes you write all the time, like all the things that were wins for yourself. And that's a good habit to get into. Anyone else? Destiny, you look tired.
No, I'm actually not. I'm just taking it all in. It's been a long time, and I'm just happy to be back. So I'm kind of just taking everything in, and a lot of the things you guys are talking about, it took me so long to realize, and I'm just happy to be in the place that I'm in now.
Destiny, I swear if you go somewhere again, I'm going to come find you and message you. You are not going anywhere. You're only going up from here.
I know so. And I told my husband the other night, I was like, if I would have taken the time to work on myself and still work my business versus working on myself and shutting my business out, I was like, RJ, I probably could have been like Senior Ruby right now.
Amen to that. You just said such a mouthful. Y'all can do both. Work your business and grow yourself. That was brilliant, Destiny.
Because I told myself all the wrong things every day. I'm like, here I am signing 14 people in 1 month, and I still was saying, oh my God, I'm going to lose them all because I can't duplicate that success again. I'm not going to be able to get that person go silver. I took 3 people silver and took myself to senior silver, and I was focusing on losing my points instead of building connections. And I lost it because I thought I was going to lose it every single day.
Well, listen to you being diamond all up in there. Yeah. She reminds me a lot of you, Joanna.
She's awesome.
It was funny because when I first started Plexus, a lot of people were like, are you on Joanna's team?
Aww.
I'm like, no, I'm under Tanya, but I think we're on the same team.
Yeah. We're all on Tanya's team. So Tanya's my upline. Yeah. So we're all on Tanya's team. So, and another thing too, focus on the people that love this stuff. Don't focus on the ones that quit. Focus on the ones that are happy. And those are the ones you want to pour into. Obviously, the ones that drop off, you want to try to troubleshoot, work with them, get them info. But maybe just their timing isn't right. And you got to know if you start something and your timing isn't right, you're probably not going to be successful at it anyways. So they will come back when they are ready. But just keep loving on them and building that relationship so they come back to you, not to somebody else.
Right.
So, but definitely focus on those ones, and they're the ones that are going to fill your cup too.
Right.
You can love on them and be professional, but don't beg them to take their product consistently or the right way. Like if you've given them the information and you've built their belief with testimonials, then it's on them to do that. I mean, I even had a girl last week, actually the girl who signed today, I was so tired of like, she would come to me and say, okay, I want to order, I think. And then we'd have this conversation, well, I don't know. And back and forth. And so I was like, you know what? I'm having a slow month. I'm going to offer her a $20 coupon. And so I did this. And this is on top of the 10% off from the Engage app, right? I'm like, how about I give you a $20 coupon? She's buying the 180 pack, blah, blah, blah. And we get done and she says, here's what happened. I said, do you have PayPal or Venmo? She's like, no, I don't have either one of them. So I guess it won't work. I'm like, well, I'll just drop it off at your house or use a check or something. She's like, well, I'll think about it. So she's already said yes to the 20 and then she takes it back because she doesn't have PayPal or Venmo. So you know what I said to her? I'm like, okay, no big deal. This isn't for everybody. So I guess I said something like, it's not for everybody. So thanks anyway and have a great week. Like it was totally like, forget it. We're done. I'm not doing this with you anymore. Bye-bye. See you later. She ordered today. Like sometimes you just have to say goodbye. Like I'm not working on this for them to come back and you don't want to push yourself in a desperate situation either. But anyway, hopefully the whole relationship doesn't go this way because it could be grueling. But
and like what you've said too, we have amazing products. Plexus sets the bar very high with our quality and our products. And we know that. So, don't dumb our products down at all because they are incredible. And when they're ready, they will take them. They will get them.
Yeah. Yep. And FYI, that can even mean like years down the road. I think I was talking to Destiny earlier tonight and I said, when I'm inviting to these events that I'm doing for myself now, I'm basically doing what Lindsay did. Thank you, Lindsay, for that inspiration. And I'm going through every single person in my newsfeed and just inviting absolutely everybody, which is over 3,000 people. So it's going to take me a little bit of time here. But I sorted my friends list from the oldest to the newest, rather than usually I'm looking at newer people. And so I have to check everybody because a lot of them are my old team. And I've got 2 yeses for my event on Wednesday night that are people that had done the products back in 2014, 13, 15. And now they're coming back to the event on Wednesday. We'll see if they sign again. But could be a completely different experience for them now. They might be in a different place. They might be more ready. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yay, Tanya.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It was good inspiration. I'm like, hey, I got 3,000 people. That's a lot of people in events. So.
Yep.
A lot of them are Plexus, of course, but not the majority by any means.
Yeah, when I did that last party, I went through my entire Facebook feed and invited every female in my feed. Invited every single female. And after I did that, I know you're wondering why the females, but I was like, they like the party, so that's what I did. But now, Julie and Joni and Des and I are working on doing a male-only party. So we're going to do a Men of Plexus party for just the men. I'm going to go back through, and now I'm going to invite all the men. So
cool.
Yeah.
We should think about maybe we can do this in December. Maybe we can do a team-wide one where we do it on the business.
Yeah. After we do this, if anybody wants to use what we put together, you guys can, but we want to try to do it like on a small level because we know that a lot of times the men are more intimidated by this kind of like in-your-face party stuff that some of us women like to do. So we're recruiting some of the men that are man ambassadors to help us out and see how it goes.
Yeah. Active, lean, mega active. That stuff would work really well for them too. So, anyone else have anything they want to throw out there? Okay, I will drop that Tony Robbins video in the leader chat groups. So you guys can have that if you want it. But I would definitely, if nothing else, even if you're a skeptic, challenge yourself to do it for 30 days. 15 minutes a day for 30 days, preferably in the morning because it sets your mind for the day. And just work through it. I'm just gonna tell you straight up front, it's probably gonna feel weird the first time because the very first thing you do is 30 breaths up like this. You're going like this and you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, and it has to be through your nose. It's gonna feel weird, but just do it for 30 days and see what it does to your business and to your life and to your mindset.